If you've ever wanted to blast goblins with fire-spewing crossbow, or rain down meteors on an army of angry mushrooms, then Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is here to make the dream a reality. This offbeat adventure takes the familiar Borderlands formula and injects it with tabletop RPG charm, spellbinding humor, and an absurd amount of loot. While the game came out in 2022, it cannot be considered old by any metric. It sometimes feels like it was overlooked too quickly, and I set it aside myself due to a terrible case of Borderlands 2 and 3 fatigue, due to playing too much. However, after a few years, and with Dungeons & Dragons and other TTRPGs so much on the rise, it felt like a good idea to revisit this game, and I'm glad that I did.
Job-stealing hack. Handsome though. A handsome hack.
At its core, Wonderlands is a game within a game. You're not just shooting and looting, you're playing bunkers and badasses, a chaotic parody of tabletop RPGs. Tiny Tina, the over-the-top dungeon master, guides you through a ridiculous campaign filled with wacky NPCs, bizarre plot twists, and references that will make D&D fans grinning ear to ear. While the humor and absurdity are top-notch, the main story doesn't quite reach the emotional height of past Borderlands games. Instead of a deep, engaging narrative, it leans heavily on comedic moments and wacky side quests. Still, when the writing is this sharp, it's hard to complain too much.
Mushroom monster awaits! Hello.
Wonderlands retains the core DNA of Borderlands, frantic FPS combat, endless weapons, and over-the-top abilities, but spices things up with fantasy elements. Grenades are out, replaced by spells that range from summoning ice tornadoes to launching fiery skulls. Melee weapons finally get a spotlight, adding another layer of chaos to the battlefield. Gunplay remains as satisfying as ever, with a near-infinite variety of weapons to discover. Whether it's a crossbow that fires rapid bolts or a shotgun that transforms into an explosive fireball, every battle feels fresh and unpredictable. The class system also sees an overhaul, allowing players to mix and match abilities for more customization than ever before. One of the biggest departures from past Borderlands titles is the introduction of an overworld map, where players explore in third person, uncover secrets, and take on side activities. It's a charming addition that adds to the feeling of playing an actual tabletop campaign. However, the procedurally generated combat encounters that pop up can feel like filler, offering little in terms of excitement or variety. Another minor gripe is the new enemy design. While Wonderlands introduces new fantasy-themed foes, some feel like simple reskins of classic Borderlands enemies. It's not a deal-breaker, but longtime fans will likely notice the similarities.
Welcome back. You saved the day, hero.
A Borderlands game is only as good as its humor, and Wonderlands delivers in spades. Ashley Birch's return as Tiny Tina is as chaotic as ever, while Will Arnett, Andy Samberg, and Wanda Sykes bring their comedic talent to the table in standout performances. The writing is razor-sharp, with countless laugh-out-loud moments, whether it's a joke about plot armor or a quest involving suspicious blue-hatted NPCs. That said, while the humor is consistent, it sometimes overshadows the stakes of the story. Unlike past entries, which balance comedy with genuine emotion, Wonderlands leans almost entirely into its ridiculousness. After about 20 hours, the main campaign wraps up, leading into Wonderland's primary endgame mode, the Chaos Chamber. This roguelike-inspired dungeon crawl provides a solid challenge, but its reliance on repetitive combat encounters might not keep players engaged for too long. However, with extensive loot grinding, myth ranks for over-leveling, and DLC expansions, there's plenty to keep die-hard fans coming back, even in this day and age. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands doesn't reinvent the Borderlands formula, but it doesn't need to. The fresh fantasy setting, incredible voice cast, and engaging combat make for an entertaining adventure that's well worth the ride. While it plays things safe in some areas and stumbles with repetitive encounters, the sheer fun factor makes up for it. If you're a fan of Borderlands or love chaotic RPG-inspired shooters, this one's a must-play. Overall, we would give it an 8.5 out of 10 for being a hilarious, action-packed ride with a touch of tabletop magic.